Hi, my name is Juan David, and in this video I'm going to show you a website that can be very practical for educational purposes, and you can also find books and authors that can be very interesting. And with this, I will tell you what kind of topics are you going to see in my webpage. First, you will find a smart summary of what kind of things are you going to see in my webpage with the help of a small video that can help you to guide you in my website. Then you will enter in the part where you will see an intertextuality that took place between the literary work of the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with the movie Split. You will also be able to observe by means of video and images the different cinematographic planes that are used in this kind of industry. You will also notice the different types of paragraphs that talk about the relationship between the book and the film that I select. You will also observe the part of the Divine Comedy, in which we first find a brief introduction to this literary work, and with this some data of the hero. With this, you will notice that the book and the page in this part are divided in three sections, which are hell, purgatory, and paradise, where each of these different sections is also divided into several sections that will be summarized and accompanied by representative images of these kind of sessions. The part of the hobbits. This part of the page focuses more on the things that call my attention to do in my different free times. Finally, in this part, you will meet a writer who changes the world of the literature by innovating the genre of the field. That's right, that's Edgar Allan Poe. You will learn most about these popular histories and more innovative ways that are many strokes, like memes, diagrams, and photo galleries. Well, the first paragraph talk about basically about what is the relationship about this book and the movie. Well, the relationship is because the two main characters of this representation suffered the same sick, that is identity disorder, that consists of having a variety of personalities. And the second point is serious because they took the same position that these people are more superior than the people who we think that are normal. And this is most of the topic that this paragraph talk to. Well, in the general plane, we talk about more than anything about with this part of the website we have. For example, I talk about what is the objective, what kind of elements I will use in this website, and anything about this part of the page will have, and I'm going to show you and explain you. Basically, this is a short resume of what I'm going to tell you more in the video. Well, in the short general shot, he makes a description about an exact point that is very important in the development of the film, in which some of the personalities have evidence in these two pictures that you can see, making a brief description of these different personalities, and also explain the reasons why Kevin developed this personality, also making a reference to also called the light, which is what each personality who requires to emerge of the society. In the 13th line, he describes more lethal and violent personality that Kevin has, and that is related to attitude that Mr. Hyde had to be someone characteristic to aggressive and bad attitude in front of the people, evidencing that one of the hands of these develops strokes a traumatic event that is shows in the book as a chemical experiment. Also gives an explanation that not always having a trauma causes discordant and origin this kind of six. And that is a fact that makes the difference between one of the girls that Kevin gives to his house. Well, in the paragraph that talk about the video, a little more is said about the different sensation and feelings that these people can feel when they are rejected in the society for their different conditions, and that as a result of this, people can be generate feelings of hate and revenge. And in this case, with Kevin, that was happening with Kevin. Knowing this, we talk about the objective that the doctor has with Kevin in terms of generate the control over all that identities that he have, and with this seeking of mitigate those feelings. It also shows those good intentions of the doctor in helping Kevin and his thinking about these people that they consider special. In the long general plane, he also talks about the feelings and sensations that these people have in their day to day. With this, he shows us the research that Dr. Fletcher carries out with these people generate different theories, such as wondering if they are people that can be more superior than to us that cataloged with normal people. People who are theories that in the movie can be evidence that no more credible in the eyes of on the experts in this subject. In the American plane, he described the essence that happens in these images that I'm going to show you. These two pictures. In the first images, she tells us about an anecdote that Casey saw in her children that was making her forever, and that is that her uncle abused of her sexually. Her in the memory of this very bad experience. He is very slow in spirit, and one of the personalities that Kevin had when she looked that he was so sad and takes her to her room, which is what can be seen in the second picture. But later it almost in tragedy, in something that can be changed the way of the movie. And finally, in the very first plane, explain what is the thesis that is at the center of this intertextuality. Consists of a disaster of mental disorder over now a personality disorder. He explained to us about its origins and the development of the disorder of these people. Also of a great potential that this type of people may have before society, and that there is to try to mitigate that discrimination that these people suffering. These people are and rarely know how use they keep their characteristics and capabilities. They may have a better society. Now let me show you the videos that this section has with the different types of plane that we see in the movies that in our quotidianity we see. I'm gonna show you one video to explain you. This is the video of the general plane that describe that we can see all the panoramic of the house of the Dr. Fletcher. And this is all to say about the intertextuality between The extreme case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the movie Split. Well, starting with the part of the Divine Comedy, um, the book written by Dante, that is so important and is characterized as one of the most recognized. In the first part of this session, that is right there, we dedicated solely to explain the people what is the book talking about, do a very short resume, a brief introduction of the book, giving a small synopsis. With this at the bottom, there are some information about Dante that is down of this paragraph, and the most important text or books that Dante writes in her life. Starting with the hell, Dante tells us about the different parts that he has in his journey to well back to see his lover, that is his wife. Everything starts in Jerusalem. The part exactly more specific, exactly in the part when Jesus was crucified. Then passing through a forest that that is the picture like that is this picture that transport him into a forest that resources that the human don't don't that the human began wasted and a rapid does. Then meet a person who called a messenger, who is a charge to transport the people's soul to they didn't reach the salvation, reaching the seven rings of hell. That is all of these pictures that you can see in the blog with his respective description. The seven rings of hell was the lust, gluttony, greed, aggressive, liars, defenders of the religion, and the last ring was when the main character of this section was that is Satanas. As you can see, all these images that are bad attitudes that the people have in his life. After going through hell, Dante goes through the purgatory. As in hell, there was someone in care to transport the souls to even the door, to the seventh door, which in turn, which these doors are the entrance of the purgatory. What saved these souls are in a certain way is that they came to repent of their action before they die, and that is why these souls they are not taken into the hell. With this purgatory, it divided it like the same like the hell, and divided into seven rings. That are the seven capital deadly. These seven rings are the anger, the pride, the jealousy, the lust, the greed, gluttony, and desire. Passing these seven rings, Dante meets a, a, a crossover rider that helps your head about bad thinking, and he's finally transported to the paradise by a ray that is the as a divine transport to well in the paradise. Arriving in the paradise, Dante meets his beloved. This scary place was divided by planets. This sacred place, was divided by planets or stars in the sky. The moon sky, and let me show you in this gallery. I explain you better this what are these different kind of divide that the paradise are. Well, in the moon sky are those who did not fulfill their religious vows. In the Mercury sky are the people who did good action, seeking the glory. In the sky Venus, the people who inclined his toward in love. In the sky Sun, the wise spirit. In the heaven, in the sky Mars, those who fought for faith. In the sky Jupiter, the just and vicious people. In the sky of Saturn, the contemplative spirits. In the starry sky are Jesus and Virgin Maria. In the crystalline sky are angels singing the Hosanna in chorus, and finally the Imperial, where the blessed souls are staying around the glory of God, and this is how this tour ends into the life of Dante. Now we just take a look about my hobbies. This is this is all my different hobby that I do in my free times. Basically, I do exercise, training soccer in my team, and help with the different homeworks that are in my house. In another times, I do the homework the schools that the school say to I need to do. I study in the signature that I was not favorable notes, and see movies and go out with my friends and my family, and that is all that I do in my free times. Uh, train training, watch movie and series, go out with friends and family, and do my homework in my home. And finally, we will know more about Edgar Allan Poe and his writings. Edgar Allan Poe was a writer who renowned the genre of the terror in his writings, which is what which is what we will see in the first part. That is the section along with a very representative phrase. That is, during the reading time, the soul of the reader is subject to the will of the writer. That is this small phrase. And this is a small gallery of images that I'm going to show you more quickly. That is Edgar Allan Poe with his two more representative writers. That is Edgar Allan Poe with his wife. That his wife was his cousin. Edgar writing a black book because their writing are so sad and scary. A representative images of one of his writings, and and a house with not a good not a good images. In Graham magazine in 1933, but was quickly associated in the Trilogia after Poe aired in his revision edition in 1935. To do more this more countable, I do these two memes that I expect that you like. Then we go to the poem called Alone that was published in 1975, where he talked about his childhood. In his childhood, we know that he was a different child. So Alone The generates has fierce feelings of loneliness with each other since there is no one with him to accompany him in his life. A demon that over the years distracted him more and accentuated his approaching his condition of loneliness. For this, a cause and effect. For this, I do a cause and effect diagram was elaborated where he showed the cause of why the children feels like Poe. He, for example, he feels alone, sad, feels, and with the solution in the program in the show in the part of down of the diagram, and I'm going to show you more specific. Well, as you can see in the part in this part of the diagram are the different contexts that have this problem with his different members. For example, a family circle that his members are dad, mom, and external cycle that are friends and teachers or another type of family that the child can be have. And this is more specific the diagram. And now I'm going to show you the last point of this page of this part of the page that was the pit and the pendulum. Another of the most popular rights. It is the story of a man that attempted to survive in a torture chamber during the Spain Inquisition, one of the most deadly inquisition in the history. This isn't really a horror history; it's more like a thriller. And this is the another gallery of images that shows the principal aspect that this uh, point that the literature reading have. And I'm going to show you the infographic that have the most important elements in this in this read that was the fear, the death, the mystery, the crazy, the loneliness, um, disturbation, the hopeless, sadness, and finally disappear and torture. That is some of the principal parts in this poem. Artist who lives completely and secluded in the company of his sister, Lady Madeline, also in poor of health. Usher lives in cribs and indefinitely disease, which caused his brother to fall into the madness. Going to do something more, what I do is do something more illustrative and do a comic was made to summary to do a summary what happened in the history, but more illustrative what I say nearly. Well, and finally we pass to the last poem that was the To Her Tell Tale, a story full of intrigue that tells the story of a man and an old man without whom he lives, who has a pale blue, coldy, vulture eyes, which distress the narrator so much that he plans to murder the old man. Even though he also insists that he loves the old man, for 7 nights the narrator opens the doors and of the old man's rooms. He orders to throw an streak of light on his evil eye. Also, in a painful way, in a magic gallery was made and with this aspired with a diagram aspired diagram analyzing these different elements of the story and relating them to each other. I put this tolerant diagram, but first I'm going to show you this small gallery of images that are so representative of this specific point. That was all the gallery, and I'm going to show you more nearly the the diagram. The diagram consists in to select sorry diag- the diagram consists in to put the different elements that appears in the read and can be related in front of them. For example, the height are related with the narrator that feels some kind of angry against the old man. And with that, all we presenting this, that is all my web page. I I expect that you really like this page and that is found you and you really like the video that is for some useful to you. Thank you. Bye.